blaming the economy on Donald Trump. It's just wrong. It's just flat out wrong. Substantively, he was wrong. Factually, he was wrong. And then mentally, he wasn't able to keep up.
And please welcome the 45th President of the United States, Donald Trump. Gentlemen, thanks so much for being here. Let's begin the debate, and let's start with the issue that voters consistently say is their top concern, the economy. President Biden, inflation has slowed, but prices remain high. Since you took office, the price of essentials has increased. For example, a basket of groceries that cost $100 then now costs more than $120. And typical home prices have jumped more than 30%. What do you say to voters who feel they are worse off under your presidency than they were under President Trump?
We got to take a look at what I was left when I became president and what Mr. Trump left me. We had an economy that was in free fall. The pandemic was so badly handled. Many people were dying. All he said was, it's not that serious. Just inject a little bleach into your arm. You'll be all right. The economy collapsed. There were no jobs. Unemployment rate rose to 15%. It was terrible. And so what we had to do is try to put things back together again. And that's exactly what we began to do. We created 15,000 new jobs. We brought out the position where we have 800,000 new manufacturing jobs. But there's more to be done. There's more to be done. Working class people are still in trouble. I come from Scranton, Pennsylvania. I come of a household where the kitchen table, if the things weren't able to be met during the month, it was a problem. The price of eggs, the price of gas, the price of housing, the price of a whole range of things. That's why I'm working so hard to make sure I deal with those problems. And we're going to make sure that we reduce the price of housing. We're going to make sure we build 2 million new units. We're going to make sure we cap rents so corporate greed can't take over.
Okay, so he goes on and on and on and on. He doesn't really make any sense here, guys. You know that. He's not able to really make any sense because he's just in over his head. Okay? He's past his prime. He's 81 years old. And if anything, this shows you that age is only a number. Because Donald Trump, as he points out, is just 3 years younger than him. And yet Donald Trump, he's got it going on. My gosh, Donald Trump actually looked like his, dare I say, his son up there. I mean, he could have been 30 years younger. It was like Biden didn't even really know where he was. I mean, this came up. He talked about age.
Actually, nothing.
Thank you, President Trump. Dana?
Let's turn to concerns that voters have about each of you. President Biden, you would be 86 at the end of your second term. How do you address concerns about your capability to handle the toughest job in the world well into your 80s?
Well, first of all, I spent half my career being criticized as being the youngest person in politics. I was the second youngest person ever elected to the United States Senate, and now I'm the oldest. This guy's 3 years younger and a lot less competent. I think that just look at the record. Look at what I've done. Look how I've turned around the horrible situation he left me. As I said, 15 million new jobs, 800,000 manufacturing jobs, more investment in America, over billions of dollars in private investment in enterprises that we are growing. By the way, we brought an awful lot of people, the whole idea of computer chips. We used to have 40% of the market. We invented those chips, and we lost it because he was sending people to find the cheapest jobs overseas and to bring home a product. So I went to South Korea. I convinced Samsung to invest billions of dollars here in the United States. And guess what? Those fabs, they call that to build these chips, those fabs pay over $100,000. You don't need a college degree for them. And there's billions, about $40 billion already being invested and being built right now in the United States, creating significant jobs for Americans from all over the world.
President Biden, you have 40 seconds left. Would you like to add anything?
Yeah, I would.
He went on to talk about how this guy's just 3 years younger. Like I said, it could be 30. It really could be. It could be. And Donald Trump brought this up. I mean, the cognitive test. For goodness sakes, Joe, take one. Of course, that would be the end. I mean, he really and truly, guys, he might have to resign. And he can't just bow out. Like, he can't just say, okay, I'm out. Like, the American people saw that he's not actually running the country last night. Let's go to Trump on the cognitive
Of
ability
your
or lack
second term.
thereof.
What do you say to voters who have concerns about your capabilities to serve?
Well, I took 2 tests, cognitive tests. I aced them, both of them, as you know. We made it public. He took none. I'd like to see him take one, just one, a real easy one. Like go through the first 5 questions. He couldn't do it. But I took 2 cognitive tests. I took physical exams every year. And, you know, we knock on wood wherever we may have wood, that I'm in very good health. I just won 2 club championships, not even senior, 2 regular club championships. To do that, you have to be quite smart, and you have to be able to hit the ball a long way. And I do it. He doesn't do it. He can't hit a ball 50 yards. He challenged me to a golf match. He can't hit a ball 50 yards. I think I'm in very good shape. I feel that I'm as in good a shape as I was 25, 30 years ago. Actually, I'm probably a little bit lighter, but I'm in as good a shape as I was years ago. I feel very good. I feel the same. But I was willing to take a cognitive test. And you know what? If I didn't do well, I aced them. Dr. Ronnie Jackson, who's a great guy when he was White House doctor. And then I took another one, a similar one. And one of them said they've never seen anybody ace him.
Thank you. President Biden?
You can see he is 6'5" and only 223 pounds. Or 20.
Okay. It gets even more interesting from there. So Biden's trying to poke at him. And then somehow they start getting into this golf match idea. This is my favorite part. I mean, who needs an election, right? Just settle it on the golf course. Let's go to the driving range, folks.
And one of them said they'd never seen anybody ace him.
Thank you. President Biden?
You can see he is 6'5" and only 223 pounds, or 235 pounds. Well, you said 6'4", 200. Well, anyway, that's what anyway, just take a look at what he says he is, and take a look at what he is. Look, I'd be happy to have a driving contest with him. I got my handicap, which when I was vice president, down to a 6. But by the way, I told you before, I'm happy to play golf with you if you carry your own bag. Think you can do it?
That's the biggest lie that he's a 6 handicap of all.
I was an 8 handicap.
Yeah.
8. But I had, you know,
I've seen you swing. I know you swing.
Let's
not act like children.
President Trump, we're going to
21
turn
Let's not act like children.
Thank you.
concern
Thank
that voters
you.
have about you. Will you pledge tonight that once all legal...
I mean, when Trump had to say, let's not act like children, I mean, Biden really underperformed. I mean, unless this is the best he could do. I mean, for God's sakes, do you remember that he took 7 days off? He went to Camp David for 7 days to prepare for this. And this is what you got, folks. Dun, da, da. All right? Like, think about that. Just think about that. 7 days. And this is the result. Gosh, we're in like worse shape than we ever thought.